What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, OG Namboy, back with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing the same team as I've been using in the Open Ultra League, but this time I'm going to be using it in the Ultra League Premier Classic. So this team has gotten me pretty far. Like, my ELO's decently high right now. It's just about like 60 points off of the leaderboard or something like that. So I figured if it's already doing so well in the Open Ultra League, it's probably going to do even better in the Premier Classic where there's no legendaries or XL Pokemon. So yeah, same theory as last time. You got the Swampert in the front to cover the weaknesses of the two fairy types in the back, and you got Togekiss as the safe swap to bait out a potential poison or steel type counter. So yep. Without further ado, let's get into these matches. So we got a Nidoqueen lead here that's really good for us, and they swap in a Swampert, which we have to stay in here a little bit because the Swampert is able to beat both our Togekiss and our Sylveon in the 2 shields, so we have to chip this down a little bit before we swap. So they shield the first one, and we mash shields with the Body Slam. We have to throw this too before we dip out, but the opponent, I think, maybe figured we had double charm or something, and he shielded both moves, which is pretty bad for us because at this point we needed the chip on the Snorlax because our switch clocks are very desynced right now, and as you can see, the opponent's going to be able to swap out of the matchup with the Snorlax. So we're going to get farmed down here, and I mean, we get off this Psyshock, but that's not too great for us because an Earth or a Hydro Cannon from that range basically kills anyways, and at this point they just get extra farm. So they throw the Earth Power at us. I'm just gonna let that go because I figure that my Togekiss is gonna be very valuable against what's in the back. So they're gonna bring the Snorlax back in here, I'm pretty sure, and I immediately bring in my Togekiss, and I'm just gonna attempt to farm this whole thing down. Like, no point in staying with the Swampert there, as I'm just gonna get farmed down. And they have an Obstagoon in the back, and unless this thing has the the sludge, or what is it, the gunk shot, yeah, we're chilling. So they don't have it, and one more charm, and that's going to be enough for the game. So they threw here, and we were able to sneak our charm through, so we definitely survived that, and then we win the game. GG's. Next match, we have a Dragonite lead. This is terrible for Swampert, so we're going to immediately swap out into the Togekiss, and we're met with a Lapras, which is pretty bad, but it's not the worst because we're only taking super effective from the fast moves, but these Surfs are going to be neutral, so we're still going to get to a Flamethrower, and even though Ancient Power is super effective, the Flamethrower overall is just going to do more damage, so we elect to throw that since we're going to get to one move anyways. And at this point we have to come back in with the Swampert since we want to preserve the health on the Sylveon for the Dragonite. And at this point, we're just going to bank on the fact that Sylveon can charm everything down. And here, I go straight for the Earthquake. There's no point in baiting here since they already have a very dominant matchup with the Dragonite. So they're most likely not going to shield that. And here, the situation is a little bit tricky since they're able to get to the charge moves pretty fast, and our charms are being resisted by the steel typing, but our win con here is just banking like the win on our Sylveon, so we have to keep it as healthy as we can. And here I go for a Psyshock bait, knowing that they know that's my win con, so they're not going to let a Moonblast through since it's going to do a lot more damage, and I'm going to be able to charm the Dragonite pretty heavily. So here I just have to keep charming and hope that I can get to a Moonblast, and yeah, we're able to do that thankfully, and we're about to vanquish this Dragonite with the Moonblast, and this thing one-shots, boom, as Zionic says, and yeah, that's a GG's. Next match, we're met with a Trevenant, so we have to get out of here at some point. But I try to catch a Seed Bomb first, like I build up to 5 and then swap, but they don't throw right away, and typically they usually don't at this elo. But I always try it anyways, which might hurt me because like they're just gonna get extra energy on their Trevenant for this matchup, but they're staying in, which is why I shield there, because if they let this through, then I'm gonna like keep the alignment that I want. But they shield it, and because they didn't swap out, I'm guessing that my Sylveon here is very valuable. So I'm just gonna come in with the Swampert right away, try to get rid of this Trevenant, and if they shield this, but they don't, so I guess I won't even explain that. And at this point, they bring in the Blaziken. So I'm scared of like a big move like a Brave Bird or something here, so but I guess I called a bait. I don't even remember what I'm doing, but I probably should have thrown the Psyshock there just to threaten the shield, but I decide to farm down, which might be a mistake here, as you can see, because I'm not going to get to 2 Psyshocks before they're able to farm up a little extra and hit me with a Leaf Blade to take me out. So they're going to beat my Swampert to the next Leaf Blade before I can get to a Hydro Cannon. And maybe if I had just threatened the shield and farmed down the Blaziken, I would have had like I could have been able to swap into my Swampert or something and win that match. So Toxicroak lead, and we have to stay in this for a little bit. I'm gonna throw the Earthquake and then dip into Sylveon, because the Sylveon matchup against the Walrein is kind of iffy, since they get to the charge move super fast, so I tend to like to chip this a little bit, or at least get a shield before I swap out. Especially since I know that my Sylveon is still pretty good against the Toxicroak. Like, even if the Toxicroak comes back in, the charm damages are still neutral, and it definitely chunks the Toxicroak quite a bit. So they throw the Mud Bomb just to get rid of this thing right away. So I figure that they're pretty weak against Charm in the back because they brought the Toxicroak into my Charmer, and that is the case. So I'm just going to throw this before I swap out. They're likely going to shield it, but got to do it anyways. Like, it would make the matchup easier if they just didn't shield it. I guess I cut that battle short, but you get the idea. It's just bringing the Charmer and Charm all the way down. So, and they quit out too. Like, they didn't even let me do it because they already knew what was going to happen. And this match, we got the Walrein lead. Once again, I gotta stay in this before I swap out and chip it, otherwise I just lose the matchup. So they're staying in here for a bit. Usually when they do this, it's a pretty good sign for me. Like, I figure that they're pretty weak to Charm in the back if they stay in. And their best answer here is a Trevenant. And sadly, we're not able to get off the Psyshock, but I don't even remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So I bring in the Swampert here because it's like I said, I figured that the Charmer is very valuable in the back. And they let this go too, which is pretty good for us. And the reason why I was trying to swap out there, even though my switch clock wasn't up, is because they can overfarm like this. Like, they already had a move. But they farmed a little extra, and I didn't want to tank extra energy. So here I'm just going to shield this because that's probably going to do the most damage out of any move they're going to be able to throw at me. And then here they're able to get to a Icicle Spear, and I'm already like celebrating victory at this point, because if they're bringing the low Walrein into me like that, then they're probably pretty weak to Charm in the back. So yeah, that's a GG's, and I was able to go 4-1 in this set, and I haven't played too many sets with this since the Premier Cup just came out, but the team does seem very strong, and I definitely could have won all 5 matches if I just played a little better. on that matchup. And as you can see here, I'm almost in the 2600s, and yeah, like I said earlier, it puts me pretty close to the leaderboard. So I'm probably going to keep spamming this team for a little bit to try to climb even higher. So yeah, don't expect too much variety from my content for the time being. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please consider commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.